Hey everyone, it's Sly47 here. Today, a few people have been asking me how I exactly would change up dive bombers, because I've been calling for a dive bomber rework in this game, and a few people have been kind of saying, hey, we don't want to nerf them anymore. They've already been nerfed in this way, especially the last patch, and changed, and some people are saying it's been too drastic of a change. I'm overall feeling alright about it on my MVR, but that's only I don't have a lot of experience. I'm not a CV main, so maybe CV mains, you guys can tell us in the comment section down below if the nerf was too hard, if they need to kind of curtail it back, or do you think that it's playing just right? But dive bombers. I'm saying there needs to be a dive bomber because I'm getting sick of getting heat-seeking missiled by a person that just has to click. That's all they have to do. That's all they have to change. And I know some people have been saying, hey, you know, your dive bomber rework or anything, you might just nerf them into the ground too hard and everything. Actually, no, I want to make them more skillful and more buffed in a way. And I know some people might be kind of going, how are you planning to do that, everything. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how I would change dive bombers. Now, of course, you could go the stereotypical route. In my opinion, and that stereotypical route is just say, hey, how about you detach them whenever a person goes into concealment, so that way you have to reattach on it. That doesn't really solve the problem, because then someone's just going to fly their planes a little bit away, wait for them to come back in concealment, or fly over them, spot them, and then dive bomb them right there. For me, that's kind of a half fix, especially with how sometimes buggy things can be with spotting. Sometimes you get spotted for too long and you were meant to go out, bots infinite spot you as well, so it's one of those like, hey, you're not really, like, it doesn't really fix the problem overall. You could add fuel like what Legends has recently, and that kind of helps curtail it, and that way you can detach them, but I think you could go a little bit better. This is my idea, particularly to change up dive bombers and actually make them in some ways even more powerful than they are today, but it requires some skill. So let's talk about this. Okay, so right now I'm basically using the Dutch airstrikes model right here. So we basically, with the Dutch airstrikes, you have a set square, goes for 10 seconds, hits area with set square. And when you hit, you do pretty good, you do pretty reputable jobs. What I want to change CVs to is basically they have a box, just the exact same way as the Dutch cruisers, but on their path over X number of seconds, which could be a balancing factor. So let's say like Malta, they have a little bit longer, or, you know, MVR has a quicker, you know, attach, you know, maybe even Haku has a quicker one. I don't know, you can balance it, you can change it up, you can play with it. But basically, you launch them and they have a set box, and over set amount of seconds, it gets smaller and smaller. Now that small area, I want that to literally be an entire battleship's deck. So basically, if a CV, after a certain point, puts their dive bombers in the right position, I want that battleship to get absolutely dumpstered. Triple fires from a midway, I want absolute destruction from, you know, sit crisis from an MVR type of thing. I want to be absolutely hit and such. But if you alter, if you move that circle at all, or the square, if you move that square just any bit in order to adjust it, it resets it back to this, and then it goes back to that shrinking phase again in order to get it more accurate. So if you do touch them last minute, you're gonna probably miss the ship in general. So if I quickly grab the eraser again, because I completely forgot to actually have it open and ready, because, you know, professional with this one. If you have a ship, this is gonna be horrible because I'm drawing with my left arm, like that. But literally, you're gonna have a starting square where, you know, in general, you're gonna generally hit the ship. You'll have a few misses and everything like that. But when you, per se, have a person going straight lined, very easy to target, you're just going to be able to drop immediately. I am talking about, literally, I want the square to be this size. Yes, literally, I'm saying that I want CVs to do even more damage. But the beauty of this entire thing, this entire idea, is that this now takes skill to drop on. But also, you can use skill to dodge them. And that's the even better part, because what you're going to be able to do is just simply go, oh, hey, maybe this ship, instead of doing that, it just turns just slightly. And if that CV doesn't change at all, sometimes now you're going, okay, hey, you know what, I'm a CV, I'm going to change it. I'm not going to get as good of a hit, but I'm still going to hit generally in that area. And I'm going to save it so that basically now the new circle goes over it and kind of hits it. You know, you're still going to get a few missed shots. You're not going to get an accurate one, but at least you're not going to completely whiff it. That's where I want CVs to be at with dive bombers. I don't want these heat-seeking missiles that find you when you basically are straight up in smoke and you're about to die and the CV just dumpsters you. That's just not fun. Because, hey, that CV just clicked you. That's all they did. They just clicked it and instantaneously they destroyed someone. That's not really fun. That's not very skillful. Whereas this idea, in my opinion, I feel like would be a great skill add. But just know to all the CV mains that are kind of going, hey, you want to nerf them even more? No. I want to make it so that if all of a sudden you hit someone with a fully just zeroed in dive bomber hit, I want to have increased chance. I want to have increased fire chance. I am totally up for those level of buffs because that means that the player that got hit by it realizes they could have dodged that if they simply would have moved. Or on the other hand, that skilled CV player just landed it and called how I was going to move perfectly. That's where I want this to be at. So now you have besides obviously getting spotted by fighters, which right now is changed up and I think is actually in a perfect good position. I think fighters are doing just fine on this right now. But now you have things that, yes, you can somewhat dodge torpedoes. But now with dive bombers, it's not just some bullcrap, heat-seeking missile, one thing again, but it is an actual skill shot that when they hit hard, and when they, hey, you might just have to say, hey, this salvo, I didn't call it well, I'm going to change it at the last minute, but at least I'll do some damage. Or you're going to have called it just perfectly and absolutely dumpstered a bunch of damage in. This is my CV dive bomber rework. That's how I would want to have it changed. So that way, CVs actually take a lot more skill than just torpedo bombers and such. And a few people have asked, hey, what about the Indomitable? It's going to turn from a clicker to an absolute skill cannon. That's actually what I would love. Because right now it is the dumbest CV in the game. It is absolutely dumb and easy to play. I would love to turn it to all of a sudden something that is in a fire monster, which I know it already is, but literally get to the point where it's like, hey, this thing could do upwards of 20 fires a game if it decided to, and you have a good player behind it. But at least every single one of those fires, you go, hey, it's not just some bullcrap click. It's, no, you have a good player behind it. That's how I would change CV dive bombers. Maybe even keep the Indomitable the way it is because it's a premium, or all premium CVs work the old way and you have a new way of this. But I just, in my opinion, CVs need to have a little bit more skill added to them. I know it sucks when you have an unskilled CV on your team, but at least in this position, when you have a good CV on the enemy team, you didn't just get clicked on and you can't do anything about it. You can actually move, and whenever players just say, just dodge, they're literally meaning, no, you can just dodge them. And you can make the CV's accuracy less by constantly moving and constantly changing your course, which is exactly what they would have done in real life. So it makes it even a little bit more historic. Hey, last minute changes to the dive bomber group, I'm betting that threw off their aim. Kind of more like real life, in a way. Even though historical accuracy really isn't important in this game. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of put this video up because, yeah, this is my idea for a dive bomber rework. I think that it needs to happen and change up. Let me know your thoughts on and exactly how you would fix dive bombers in this game. I know we're never getting the CVs removed. Let's just kind of stop that talk right now. But as of this time, I just want to make CVs more of a skill-based game instead of magically clicking on things and then watching them go across the field as you slowly realize you're going to die if you're on the receiving end of it, which is super fun. But let me know in the comments once again what you guys' thoughts are on this one, and let me know if you guys agree, disagree. Love to talk about it to all of you in the comments section. Have a good day, everyone, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help support the channel. Peace.